Alright, welcome back to 10-second cartooning. Hopefully you've practiced the 1-point perspective. If not, no worries. Just take it in and observe it. The next lesson we have in Mastering Perspective by Andy Fish is shapes. It always comes back to the shapes. Whether you're doing anatomy or objects, it comes back to the shapes. That's why I kind of like going back to them once in a while. Building blocks, a variety of shapes. Now let's try the same thing, but with a few different shapes set at different points on the horizon line. Let's see how they work in perspective. So I'll go over this. Pretty much this is a long chapter. You can have me draw some shapes, or have you draw some shapes here, triangle. Hopefully you can do this. Just eyeball it. They don't have to be perfect shapes, but try to get them as close as you can. You don't have to take a ruler and do that all perfect. They have one on the horizon line on purpose, and this is kind of an interesting visual here. See, this way our original square still sits above the horizon line, and so does the orange circle. The red square sits on the horizon line, which we will address, and the other shapes all sit below the horizon line. So they're doing it on purpose. And so the only thing is that my square is going to be over here as opposed to over there. Okay, so triangle, step 2, step 3. See, they're doing the same thing, but below the horizon line and on the side of the horizon line is the difference here. And they're all coming back to different points of the shape. And then here we go, all coming back to that vanishing point. And then you get the picture. And eventually you'll start giving these shapes some depth to cut them off by drawing horizontal and vertical lines at that point. Again, you're going to have to eyeball it. And that's good practice. It's to eyeball straight lines. That's why I kind of go over it in my Udemy course, going from point A to point B and trying to get to those 2 points, keeping a straight line, practicing drawing a straight line. And then there's more connecting to the vanishing point, the triangles, giving them depth right there. This is a long chapter. And even the sun shape there, the circle, is going to be like a cylinder, which when I figure draw, I do cylinders, but mostly ovals, but cylinders work well for the arms. And this gives you more 3D depth here, and that's where it's going to end. It's a total of 14 steps. Some of the steps are going to move quicker than others. But so step 1, go back to your original square and add a few more square-based shapes, as well as a couple of triangles and circles. To recap, with 1-point perspective, all the shapes facing us are flat, as if they were hanging on a wall. Now that's why this picture's here, because it looks like he's looking at them hanging on a wall. Their placement above or below the horizon line determines whether we will be able to see the top, bottom, or side of a particular shape. Alright, so again, if you wanted to tape your surface down, if you had a bigger table, use masking tape for each corner to keep it grounded better. This pad has been doing okay so far. So let me start drawing some shapes. I'll start off with one on the horizon line here. Just the square on the horizon line. See how I kind of turn my hand around here, This is just kind of my method. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way. Light pressure. Really light. Okay. There you go. If you're not able to do a square like that, don't worry. Practice drawing squares. It's all in the practice, you know. But don't worry about it being 100% perfect. That's not perfect at all, but it's good enough for me. We'll do the circle. Let's see. I could put it over here. I'm gonna put it right here. Well, I'll put it right here. Again, this is where I could do that technique I was showing you before. The perfect circle, you draw the perfect square. So you do it like a target. Like those targets you see in video games, movies. 1, 2, 3, 4 walls there. And then you just kind of connect, curve, and so it meets and it flattens out right here, and then it curves again between these 2 points. And you just keep working with it till it's curvy, and those lines are pretty much gone. So it's a smaller circle than what they have, but that's okay. Okay. I'm not going to darken it. I'm going to keep everything light. And then down here they want a... Oops, sorry, it's kind of shaky here. A rectangle. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it. Or you can use an object. That's a rectangle, and trace around it. Outline it. There you go. Nice and light. Not perfect yet. Still kind of sketchy. And then you got 2 triangles here below the horizon line. Kind of sketchy that he has them next to each other. Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks triangles. That could be little pine trees. Trained to see that. How to make things from shapes now. Not very, yeah, that's not very perfect, but you get the idea. I'll perfect it later. Okay. And then this odd shape here, I'll make it a little bit smaller for it to fit in. This is like a puzzle shape. I don't know how many, I'm sure there's a name for how many sides it has. It's not coming to me right now. So I'm looking at this, it looks like these are on the same level. So I'll try to make them on the same level here. This is why it's good to practice shapes. 10 seconds a day, minimum. You just get used to drawing straight lines better. Okay, so there we go. Draw your shapes. Do minimal erasing. And yeah. See you back here for the next part. Will be actually starting with this one here, this square on the side, the horizontal lines, perspective lines to the vanishing point. But yeah, practice some shapes. If you feel like you can't get that quite good enough for you, practice sketching, squares, Remember that perfect circle thing I showed you over there? Technique. Practice that. I could do a separate video on that. And these shapes here below the horizontal line here. Okay? I'll see you back here for the next steps. Remember, 10 seconds a day.